Okay, so here's Biohaven. Haven't looked at it in a bit. $18 stock, 1.8 billion cap. Let's dig in. Vlad has a great track record. You know, he sold most of Biohaven already for like what was it, 15 billion or something. And so this is kind of what was left over from the Pfizer deal when he sold the migraine drugs to Pfizer. Shares out hasn't changed. Yeah, they're not so cash rich. That's all right. Trying very hard to. Oh, they do have a debt there. 257.70. Okay, so they need some cash. But regardless, yeah, they're spending a lot. They're gonna spend 600 million this year. Jesus Christ. So this is kind of new Biohaven, founded 2022, but it had all the old drugs. So, you know, it's kind of this big portfolio of medicines. And the main thing going on here is trorizol. I see. I've been following this drug for years. I don't even know how to say it. Let me see if YouTube has an official way to say it.
Just as a little introduction, that the spinal cord injury is a major public health problem. Also, it's a major clinical challenge, but it's also a major public health problem because of the profound impacts it has on the people. And then, beyond the, as we all know, beyond the supportive care and emergency surgery and a little of the conflicting evidence about the use of corticosteroids, we really don't have much of the choices how to treat this injury, and various treatments have been attempted, and none of them has shown any success yet. So one of the possibilities or opportunities to try to do something with the acute spinal cord injury and its consequences is the neuroprotection, and one of the best known pharmaceutical treatments for in this area is the sodium channel blocker, or riluzole. And riluzole has been approved for the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
Yeah, I always called it Riluzole, but it's Riluzole. And this thing's been around forever.
In this area is the sodium channel blocker, or riluzole.
And I think the mechanism of action was always a little kind of confusing. And everyone's tried to get it to work in different diseases. So they have riluzole, and it's just I think it's a prodrug, basically. So we're going to see if we can find out how the FDA is going to decide here. But they have so many assets. I mean, they really do. It's a huge portfolio. And I like most of them, so I've always liked this stock. I actually never liked riluzole because it's like classic biotech guy wouldn't like it either. I mean, but it's something where, you have to, let's see what the FDA says, and let's see what they seem very convinced. And, the guy sold a company for 14 billion. So I'm not going to sit there and say I know better than him. I'm not saying he knows better than me, but I want to hear him out. What is he thinking? Um, Stocks go up, stocks go down. You got to wait it out sometimes. All right, so they had this study, 206 study, phase 3. Is this the same study? We just got to go through this really carefully. BHB 4157 206. So obviously, the company's going to be out there lobbying, trying to get the FDA to say yes. CA primary endpoint. Thara did not reach stat sig as there was less than expected. Okay. Oh, they had a refusal to file. Is this 206 RWE? Okay, I'm going to read this really slowly because it's a little confusing. But it looks like there's the 206 RWE, which I don't really know how that differed from 206, but we'll look at it. OCD failed. Okay, let's see. Let's see what PubMed says. I wish I was quantum, man. You know how hard quantum is to learn? It's fucking impossible. Let me show the do dilly. Hmm. Riluzole is a bit of or Riluzole is a bit of a confusing drug. Nobody really knows how it works. I mean, nobody knows if it works. The data it was approved on for ALS was pretty minimal, and honestly, I don't think the drug was used that heavily in ALS, and it certainly wasn't priced like it worked. But it was also like kind of, I wouldn't say before the rare disease era, but it was a while back. AI is a bubble, but quantum isn't. Ah. I don't find myself using Sci-Hub too often anymore, no. I'm anti-piracy, man. I think like, if you can afford it, you should do it yourself. If you can't afford it, well, Yeah, Ari, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. Let's see what they said here. Access denied. Damn. That's cold. Cold blooded. Right on their website. You put the link up and tell me access denied. Fuck out of here. Talking about access denied, bro. Okay, well, we can view the presentation at least. I've always been anti-piracy if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, steal that shit. Get your ass back down. Just have to understand what this study was. Get your ass back down. Novel, rationally designed therapy? I don't know about that. Glutamate dysregulation increases intracellular calcium. Talk to me. Yeah, D-Lau, I know what you mean. This is annoying as hell. Quantum's basically up right now. Fuck. Open's down, BTQ's down, but Lays is up for some reason. Ugh. Pain in the ass, man. No, nootropics are not a real thing in my opinion. So this is the primary endpoint at 3 years. Okay. But did they do a study? How'd they... What? Trilizol, 3-year. FSARA. Okay. Yeah, you're right, ZW. Totally agree. I know stimulants. So annoying. What the fuck? Okay, well, hold on a second. Hold on. Wait just a second over here. I spy with my little eye. You guys see this, chat? Just saying. Keep an eye on that. Oh, they're not all SCA? Oh, is this for all SCA? I thought it was just SCA 3. The fuck? Felt that. This is also okay, well they still beat Euro SCA. In fact, that data looks better. Okay, so the first concern I had was the baselines are imbalanced. But the Euro SCA data looks quite similar, the baseline to the 206. And so here, the European baseline was also to beat that as well. So that's good. Pooled data. But now we get back to this issue, which is what happened here with these patients. But here, this looks much more robust. So the dropouts and the censoring looks fine. That looked like a fear for a second. I mean, it's kind of, well, it might be hard to say no to this. Where did they say high SD? So p-value less than 0.0001 on this. 0.05 here. No, I didn't see that, Monte Cristo. What a crybaby. Fucking can't cry, man. It's war in these markets. You got a problem with your returns? Try harder. Ask me about ataxia. There's a thing about, you guys may not know this, but if you have something that says ask me in biopharma, you're only allowed to promote a drug if it's on label. In other words, if it has a FDA approval for that disease. But if you have something that says ask me about ataxia, and then and the drug is for ataxia, you're allowed to do that. And if the doc asks you, you are allowed to tell them about the off-label use. It's a very funny, thing that you can do. A little loophole. Okay. No, Friedreich's ataxia and SCA or spinocerebral ataxia are different things. Isn't that funny? Yeah. So people wear these buttons that are like, ask me about this thing. And doc is like, what about this thing? And you're like, oh, well, since you asked, I can tell you that Lyrica is an excellent drug for whatever disease you want. Depression? Yeah, it works for that. Anxiety? Yep. Absolutely. My patient's, his problem is, it works. Don't worry. You didn't even let me finish. Tell me they're going to rally quantum on a day like today. Man. Not feeling that, man. Viglixia. There's another way. You guys want more tricks? Want me to do some tricks on it? I will. Viglixia. Watch this trick. Viglixia.com. Page is parked. What happens when it's not parked no more? See, I'm putting you on. I spelled it wrong too. Here we go. That's parked as well. I'm gonna buy it for $20. Let me buy that. I'm 3 steps ahead. Now maybe a label pops up. You know? Maybe a label pops up. If this drug gets approved, what does the stock go to 50? If I'm not mistaken. $20 calls are $5. Damn. So if the 20 calls are $5 and it goes to 50, I turn 5 into 30. That's a quick flip. That's a quick come up. All I need to know is it going to get approval? Ari's question, would payers reimburse? I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay, search did not return any results. I see. I think I wrote some software to... Oh, somebody did a FOIA log. Okay, I see you, Playboy. Let me see that. Let me see that log over there. Let me see that log then. Bernstein Litowitz. Little FOIA there. That's a law firm, so... .72. Another .72. CNBC. Fascinating. A lot of FOIA requests. Insider info requests. So anyway, we're on watch trying to... Did I download the first one or the second? Trying to figure out if... if this drug is approved, you know, there'll be some document somewhere that shows that. And we want to see that before anybody else so we can make 50x our money. That make sense? Or 5x? Any x. So that's going to be the drug's name, I guess. Viglixia. But sometimes at the last second, the drug names change. Again, the FDA is... Oh, yeah, don't tell anybody. Don't snitch. Snitching is a problem. Now, what we're doing is completely legal. Okay? Don't ask any more questions, though, please. So... the FDA's website is a little bit scrapable. So they'll probably put out some kind of press release. It's not always clear that they don't always put out a press release. Just because a drug gets FDA approval doesn't mean the stock will go up. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for that insight. But in this case, it does. They have not announced the exact date. What are we talking about? What drug? Of course, we're still on troriluzole. Listen. You figure out the troriluzole approval, you make 5 mil real quick, or 50. For me, it's more like 5, but shit, maybe you make 50. Some of y'all really don't have any money, though. You're trying to flip 3K into 15K. Don't make me pull out the Andrew Tate again. You're broke. So Ricky Low. So Ricky Lickle Wall. Flip it, reverse it. You're fucking broke. I like SPRB. I didn't change my mind. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking. Brian knows what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm still in Sarepta. Open door down 6-7% there. The whole Eric Jackson portfolio is going to zero, dude. I don't know if the adcom is relevant. I almost think adcom's a I don't know. There's a distribution there. Adcom is either no adcom is really good or really bad. Ooh, I am. Yeah, you do have that going for it. It's a rare disease drug, very capable management, very plausible approval on the real world data. Let's see what my favorite Swiss banks has to say. Shout out to UBS here. I ain't reading all that. Happy for you, or I'm sorry it happened. Only remaining. So no, there's a lot of Swiss banks. There's Von Tobel. There's many others. Call the analyst live. Let's go. Oh, is this the same expert? Just doing it for the whole sell side. Okay, we got J.P. Morgan. No, there's a lot of Swiss banks left. Don't get it twisted. $70-page slide deck. God damn. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I need this 70-page slide deck. I probably have it somewhere. JP Morgan says 40% of approval, at least into the 30s for the stock. Good case, I get this weird middle ground where restricted label. I don't think that would be bad, my man. Or my girl. I mean, the 35 calls are $2, so it's not like. Yeah, I think it hits 40. Yo, Biohaven really is a great long-term outlook. I don't know what the FDA is going to do. This is the 70-page slide deck. This is all you need to understand Biohaven. Just join Godel Terminal, and it's yours. Well, the refusal to file wasn't good. I was thinking about buying Meta too. You got to email me, Ari. You're a buy-sider, right? Support your boy. Man, I ain't feeling doing all this research, man. I'm just going to call Trump.
China.
Let me see if I could get Trump on the line, man. Who the fuck wants to do research? I want to do insider info, baby. See if I can get Trump on the line, man.
Listen up, you little shit. You think you can just waltz in here asking me about biotech and FDA bullshit? I swear to God, if you waste my fucking time with some amateur hour questions, I'll make sure your career is deader than Biden's brain cells.
Okay, Trump. What do you think about the Biohaven drug?
You mean that worthless fucking Nurtec shit for migraines? Biohaven's just another bunch of pharma crooks charging $800 for a pill that gives you the shits and barely works better than a fucking aspirin. I ought to come down there and choke you with those garbage tablets if you think that's real innovation, you clueless little prick.
No, I was asking about their ataxia drug.
Oh, that horseshit experimental compound BHV-4157. The FDA let them fast track because no one gives a fuck about ataxia patients. It's a glorified vitamin that flunked every real endpoint. But hey, anything to pump that market cap. Those Biohaven bastards practically jerked off on the advisory committee until they got approval. Why the hell are you wasting oxygen on this loser chemical instead of something that actually works?
Well, it's not approved yet, Mr. President.
No shit, it's not approved, you moron. So stop wasting my time fantasizing about some future flop that probably won't even survive the next PDFA review. Got it?
It's pronounced PDUFA, Mr. President.
Don't you dare correct me, you sniveling little prick. I've been screwing the FDA since before you could spell PDUFA. So shut your mouth before I rip out your tongue and staple it to the warning label of that dead-on-arrival drug you're jerking off over.
Mr. President, people with ataxia are suffering. They need a new drug.
I don't give a rat's ass how heart-wrenching the sob stories are. If the data's garbage, the drug stays off the market, and you can take your bleeding heart guilt trip and shove it straight up your own ass.
Mr. President, you know I'm a fan of yours. I just think you should help my portfolio out.
You want me to pump your pathetic little Robin Hood account, you brown-nosing leech? Tell you what, scrape together every dime you've got, short that Biohaven garbage, and maybe I won't send the IRS to crawl so far up your colon you'll be shitting tax forms for a decade.
Mr. President, I donated to your campaign committee. How can you treat me like this?
I don't give a flying fuck if you mortgage your double wide to send me a check. Your $50 donation doesn't buy you jack shit. So quit whining before I make sure the only thing your portfolio ever cures is your will to live.
You seem a lot friendlier on TV, Mr. President.
Television's sanitized garbage for the gullible rubes, you starstruck halfwit. This is the Oval Office, not some fucking game show. And right now, your whining is about as useful as a condom in a convent. So pipe down before I sick the FTC on your penny stock pipe dream and watch it burn to ash.
Mr. President, I don't know if you know who you're talking to, but this is Martin Shkreli from New York.
I know exactly who you are, you cocky little farmer prick. The failed hedge fund wannabe who jacked up prices until the entire country wanted your head on a pike. Keep running your mouth and I'll bury your entire operation in so many subpoenas your fancy lawyers will need a fucking mining crew to find daylight. Now crawl back to your garbage Twitter account before I revoke every clearance your shitty company ever sniffed.
Mr. President, I was hoping you would give me a pardon.
Listen here, you price-gouging little weasel. A pardon's got zero to do with biotech, and you damn well know it. Beg me on your knees. Donate every crooked dime you ever scammed, and maybe I'll throw your sorry carcass a lifeline. But if you waste one more second of my time, I'll make sure federal prison feels like a fucking five-star resort compared to what I'll unleash on you.
Also, I wanted to talk to you about quantum computing.
Quantum computing? Jesus Christ, you arrogant little prick. You can't even handle a goddamn PDOFA calendar, and now you want to jerk off over qubits? Stick to your shitty pharma pumps before I rip that tongue out and feed it to the superconducting chip you couldn't understand if it bit you in the ass.
Mr. Trump, I want to make sure that you do not give the quantum computing companies any money.
I'll strangle every subsidy those quantum nerds beg for if it keeps another dime from your grubby hedge fund claws. So shut your mouth before I shove your portfolio so far down the quantum rabbit hole it decoheres into pure piss.
Are you having a bad day, Mr. President?
Listen, dickhead, I'm having a peachy day ramming excellence down the FDA's throat. So stop sniffing my mood like a nosy little terrier before I rip that concern off you and shove it straight up your own quantum ass where it belongs.
Mr. President, I know the quantum companies are lobbying for money, and I demand that you refuse their...
Web search, quantum computing, federal funding, October 2025 White House lobbying.
Mr. President, I demand you refuse their interests.
You demand shit, you arrogant little pissant. If those quantum beggars cross my desk, I'll torch their requests so fast their lobbyists will need fucking burn unit beds. So back off before I staple your demands to your nuts and mail them to the Commerce Department myself.
Mr. Trump, I'm going to vote for Mayor Mamdani in the New York City election.
Vote for whoever the hell you want, chump. Mama Donnie, a dead squirrel in a tutu, I truly don't give a flying shit. Keep blathering about politics and I'll gut every federal perk your bankrupt hedge fund carcass.
You know what, Mr. Trump? I'm going to be voting for Bernie Sanders.
Vote for that crusty communist cadaver, and I'll make damn sure the IRS audits every penny you ever skimmed while the SEC buries your tickers in so much paperwork you'll be begging for Bernie to nationalize your ass just to end the misery. Now buzz off before I squash your portfolio like the roach it is.
You know, Mr. President, you're guilty of 34 different felonies, right? Do you know that?
34 bullshit bookkeeping Mickey Mouse charges, you sanctimonious prick. Means nothing while I'm still running the goddamn country. Keep parroting that loser DA's fantasy, or I'll sick every three-letter agency on your
She's not a loser.
show.
She's not a loser. Letitia James is a queen.
Letitia James is a grandstanding hack who couldn't litigate her way out of a paper bag. And if you keep slobbering over that clown show, I'll have a bullshit consent order stuffed so far down your throat, you'll be shitting New York civil penalties for a month. Now crawl back to your Bernie rally before I unleash the full wrath of federal enforcement on your garbage portfolio.
I'm going to the No Kings rally.
Congratulations, you virtue signaling clown. March around with your little No King sign while your penny stocks circle the drain and the SEC builds a bonfire out of your filings. When you're done playing revolutionary, remember I'm still the one who can vaporize whatever shell company you're hiding behind. So enjoy your protest before you crawl back here begging me not to nuke the last diseased dollar of your portfolio, capiche?
All right, Trump, I got to go. You seem like you need a nap.
Take your limp dick exit before I shove that nap straight up your ass and subpoena your dream.
All right. Trump didn't help us at all. We don't know if approval's coming or not. What I'm trying to figure out is was the RWE a totally separate study or was it an extension of the other study? The only reason I'm curious is if same starting date. They must have started that and then it went into the other. Okay, yeah. Here's the... kind of ran this into that. Okay, so all these have been any SCA patients. So it's not SCA3. It's all SCA. .201 efficacy, p-value 0.52. Is lower better here for Sarah? Lower is worse, I think. Really close to no significance here. I mean, really close to no change at all, basically. In fact, patients who considered themselves improved was higher on placebo. So it's a little worrisome there. Although the FARA they seem to do better. No, I'd rather not short Biohaven because they have a lot of good assets and they have a really good management team. Yeah, so the first study was actually like somewhat in favor of placebo. And this study, okay, that's the extension study. Let's look at the next study. P-value 0.75, rough. Oof. So you get two studies in a row that show no efficacy. Oh, man. The subgroup of SCA3 isn't really that convincing. Okay, RWE was their best looking thing, but it's really just not concordant with the other studies. Redros, well, BTQ and CCCX are garbage companies that are going to zero. Yeah, it seems like the doctors want it. Yeah, Rigetti's going to 0-2, of course. Rigetti has no chance. Rigetti's got the worst of the superconducting, and superconducting, it's not even clear you can scale that at all. It could be very tough for them to scale that. I don't think they know how to. And then D-Wave is like complete garbage. I bought it a while back and I fucking sold it because somebody in Godel told me INBX wasn't a good long. They said they were short. And I was like, all right, whatever. I sold it. You know, they were like, I forgot what they said. It was like something very fucking minimal. And I'm pissed because the data was pretty good.
That drug pharmacy dude, Martin, what's his name?
Martin Shkreli?
Shkreli.
Shkreli. Well, once D-Wave reports their next quarter, maybe it'll be a little more clear that they're not going anywhere fast. BTQ and Open, though, wow, BTQ is diving. Lays as well is up, but CCCQ or CCCX is down. It'll be really interesting. I don't know on Biohaven, man. This is a toss-up. I mean, I could see it both ways. And so the question is, do we want to... I almost feel like you have to buy a little bit just in case. Let it, you know, if it fails, the deck is cleared for... I mean, expectations are low, right? The stock's gone from 50 to 18. So, like, it's kind of bottomed out in a way. Open Army, we're holding the lines. Yeah. Can't believe D-Wave's at 40. It's so fucking ridiculous. $34. AbbVie's at 106. Let's go. Rigetti is 36 cents. We live in... Who said price don't matter? Who said price don't matter? Price always matters. Price don't matter. Yeah, I didn't really know INBX, and this guy sounded like he knew it, and... Well, I think to really understand Biohaven, you're going to want to know the rest of the portfolio, and they kind of have a really good rest of the portfolio. So this might actually, if they get approval, it's obviously really good news. If they don't, and I know they're trying really hard, maybe it clears the deck in a way that's kind of positive so that like the street can focus on the other drugs. Because I think there's been this focus on this drug. I'm a little tempted to buy. Yeah, they're burning a lot, but they can always raise more money and monetize drugs, I think. Dress up for Halloween. Oh, yeah, maybe I should. It's also been climbing into this approval. Not that that matters much, but it's kind of interesting. I'd rather not gamble. We should, avoid gambling. I'm not paying any attention to Antilia. The company is just cursed. Management already sold a big company. They seem very good at portfolio management. So yeah, they had a $14 billion exit. And the portfolio looks great. I mean, hard to bet against these guys. So it's kind of like you buy a little here at 2 billion, maybe you get a chance to buy more at 1 billion. But if they get approval, we're headed to 6 billion. If they don't get approval, we're still probably heading to 6 billion because they're pretty good and they've got good assets. It's hard. Yeah, we can definitely look at Resolute. These call options have to be worth something, right? 30 calls. I do think the chances are probably higher than perceived, but that doesn't help us if we're just trying to